God.
Yes.
Oh my God. I got a lot of things to talk. Dr. G is here. This is the morning. Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday, July 16th. It is 6:03 a.m. And you're going to learn about the world today, things that are
Yes.
trending. Dr. G doesn't even know it's trending.
I'm not the guy for that. He can just bounce it off and go, "Wow," and I can be like the person that goes, "Wow, I've never heard of that before."
Dr. G doesn't
Um,
know a lot of this stuff, but if you want to know what's going on in
mhm.
your world and all that great stuff, join the good doctor and me on Sundays here. If it's your first time here, subscribe and just hit that join button if you want to become a member and support the show and chat with us. It's really easy. It's right there for $9.99 a month. It's a lot of fun, and you
It's
get
worth
to
a guy.
chat with us, and you get two coffees for the price of two a schmuck and a doctor. What else can you ask for on your Sunday morning? But anyway, we're going to start the show. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff that's trending. Like, are you rich yet? The Powerball, the jackpot, it jumped to 875 million. Dr. G, what would you do at 875 million? My question is, would you take it?
Well, of course. I mean,
I,
yeah,
well,
the
well,
idea
well,
I think for all of us is we hope that most of us who didn't grow up with money, and neither one of us did, and you would hope that you would do something good with us, and you wouldn't buy a yacht, because I have no desire to have a yacht, but it does seem when
you have no
when people
desire.
get rich, like the Elon Musks and the Bezos and whomever, they just before you know it, they're buying yachts instead of doing something good with the money, and so that's always the hope is that we would do something
The
good.
hoe. You could buy a yacht and some hoes too. Listen, everybody, it is Sunday. It is coffee talk. It all starts now. We'll get to know each other. Don't touch that dial.
It's coffee talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here. With Stefan and all his friends.
Dr. G, welcome, welcome, welcome. Put that buying yachts and hoes. What's wrong with you, Dr. G? Huh? Well, Debbie Moeller, she's here. She is here, and I bought some tickets Friday night after work. Chances are pretty slim, but hey, it's fun when it gets that high. You know what the thing is when you go to these places, Dr. G? When you have to go to the worst parts of town, like
Hmm.
the buy. It's a
To
known
get
fact,
yeah.
you know.
Miranda, when the things when we were in California, it was always this place, Last Chance Liquor. That's why she would buy. It was always hilarious. You had to go into Last Chance Liquor to get your Powerball or
Oh,
whatever the lottery thing was.
yeah, yesterday we went to some real crazy place yesterday.
Hmm.
And yeah, because I went last night. I went to go see Bill Burr play. I hope I didn't knock myself out here. You see me, right? Okay.
I see.
Went to go see Bill Burr. My friend of mine, Club Soda Kenny, he works for him, and so they hooked us up with a room. We had a date night and everything, and had dinner, and went to the casino to see Bill Burr. So around where the place is, it's by the Tacoma Dome.
Hmm.
It's a lot of homeless there. It's really scary.
Hmm.
So there's a place we went to, and it was called like uh Min's Grocery. And outside Min's Grocery, it's a little tiny shack, a lot of homeless people. Or maybe they're not homeless. Maybe it's just men with no shirts, cigarettes, and you know, villains, whatever you want to call it. I got to be careful what I say here. I don't know what
Yeah, you got to be careful.
you know.
It's a you know.
It's put it this way. It's right by a casino.
Hmm.
It's not Disneyland. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Right.
It's tense,
Hmm.
scariness. So we
Right.
go into this place. We drive in there, Amber and I go, "That's the place."
Hmm.
And she's driving because I don't want to drive.
Right.
And we pull in on the side of Min's Grocery. And let me tell you something. Amber's like, I go, "Can do this, do that." She has rules to buy this lottery, this
Hmm.
Powerball thing. There's
Sounds
rules.
sounds like Miranda.
Ugh, I never knew there's such rules. I go, "How do I do this to get this
Right.
Powerball thing that's trending in the world?" She,
Hmm.
"Well, you do this and you got to do this and do." I'm like, "Just come with me." What do you
Hmm.
mean I gotta come with you? I go, "Come with me." I gotta go in there by myself to this
Right.
place. I got a video of the thing. I want to share it over here. Um, and the place, yeah, right. Hold on. And she's like, "Really? I wish I would have uploaded this video for you guys." It's the most scariest place. And then Amber is driving out of it.
No. It's like, this is not like, this is crazy. Look at the traffic. Hold on.
This is just going to get the tickets.
It's a situation. Look,
Oh yeah, I see.
you can tell she's frustrated.
I'm thinking about it. Red, white, and blue hot seats.
So it's like this is like with me and Amber.
Right.
Look. I got my legs in there. Look.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Sexy there, buddy.
But hold on.
This place might be good too. You gotta go where mutants are on it. You might have a chance to win.
That's a place to win. I agree with you.
Yeah, I go down. You got to go where mutants are. That's what I'm saying. Okay?
Yeah,
I don't know if
I
that's
heard-
politically correct. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But you really do got to go to the most scariest place to get a chance to win. The things that Amber and I do for this Powerball. Anyway, we're driving there, and it's the scariest situation. So we pull into this dirt road on the side of Min's grocery store, and I'm thinking, who the hell shops at this place? And there's this. Whoever don't get mad at me, people out there. I'm not being racist. I'm not, there's a guy there, and he's not from this country. It's like he's a nice little Asian guy by himself, and he's like has his ear pods in there, and he has all these criminals in the seediest place in the world. I go, this guy has some set of balls on him just to sit here in this world of chaos, because I wouldn't be. I think they're all out to get me. So we walk in there, and Amber goes, you better check the car. I go, okay, I'll check the car. I'll be right back. So I walk outside. It's not even a couple of seconds. By the time I come back in there, there's this other mutant behind Amber. Kind of his shoes are on, kind of they're off, and he's like sweaty, and he has this big giant ice, like blue ice behind her. And she's like, oh, like crazy. My wife's like, oh, crazy eye. And she said, I'm like standing there, and the guy behind the register is taking a long time. And it's a scary place. Anything could go wrong right now. When we walk out, Amber's like, I can't believe it took so long. I go, what do you mean so long? It took so long. I went outside to check the car. I looked at the mutants. I come back into you.
Yep.
She's like freaking out. Then she realizes, because there's a rhythm to play this Powerball thing there on the tickets. There's a thing where you have to. There's two different things you're supposed to do. I don't know. There's like a cash, and there's a yes, and there's a no. Well, we didn't do it all.
Okay.
So Min grocery, he messed up Min.
Oh, that man.
I goes, do you want to go back in there? Maybe we get a refund. We complain every time. It's when the ADIKAs go out, there's a reason to complain about things. It's all for this
Powerball.
There's rules.
I understand why people do it. Miranda does it, and I've done it with her. I mean, you said, "Hey, whatever you want to spend, honey, you can go into the last chance looker and get the Powerball thing." I understand. We all want the hope of that the freedom that we assume comes with the money, and that of course is wrought with difficulty in terms of what would we actually do with the money, like you're asking. And but most likely, obviously, we're not going to get the money, and but it's the idea of the hope we feel that it brings.
Yeah, we're driving around this neighborhood. It's like it's like mutant city I'm in.
Well, the idea
there
is,
it is.
Of course,
this is the
like
place. Look at that place.
Well, the hope is that so one day you win the Powerball, and then some building there becomes a place that the homeless can live in, and there's it goes on and on from there about how we create safe environments. And it's not through policing, obviously. It's through
these are the people that are waiting for us
outside. Of the infrastructure, taking care of people like this, that they have a home. And that's the idea, is we've shifted our priorities so much in our country towards the policing of things instead of the care of people. And then then you'd be able to go to Men's Grocery and get this without all the other types of things that seem to come with it, because the downtrodden in our society, which is a growing section as this wealth inequality grows, that's the single greatest, as a doctor, that's the single greatest cause of disease is, our capitalistic structure, which is creating this wealth inequality and lack of tying insurance to jobs, et cetera, et cetera. You could go on and on about that experience and what it says about our country, right?
Yeah.
Because but that is
You're so great, Dr. G. Dr. G is so great, Debbie Muller, because he's like helping the world, saving the world, and I'm over here outside Men's Grocery. It says dead end. You got this guy out there,
Right.
and you go out there. You're like Mother Teresa. Me, I'm like, lock the doors. Let's get the hell out of here. My wife
Oh
is
my
mad
gosh.
face at me right now. Look at this. I'm out there in the street risking my life at this Powerball, and I got Amber yelling at me. We did it wrong, and now we have to go to another place,
another place. It's just like
another
that,
mutant, yeah, another
exactly.
Mutantville. I go
So
to gas station, and then
so
Amber's crazy. She's driving I go, you're driving down the wrong way. We're squeezing through trucks and things. It's like the most dangerous thing for this Powerball. You don't even. So we had to go to another place, and they're looking at us. It's like ordering food. Is this where you get the Powerball? Because there's no signs. And the guy goes, what? I go, and I'm thinking to myself, Amber, he don't know. I go, he's working
Right.
here. He would have picked the best numbers for himself already. Oh my God. That was my adventure before the Bill Burr show that we went to.
That sounds, yeah. Well, I hope you get a chance. When is the Powerball happen?
The Powerball, I'm glad you asked about this, because I'm going to go right here, because you think I know all this stuff. There was no winning ticket had been declared for Saturday's Powerball drawing. The jackpot is now up to 900 million, basically, for Monday. The numbers that were drawn for Saturday's 875 million Powerball drawing, the numbers were 57, 43, 02, 55, 09. And the Powerball's 18. I'll repeat that if you guys are watching. 57, 43, 02, 55, 09, and the Powerball 18. So yeah, that's right. So no one, the whopping prize money comes after no one, and so that's it. So that's it. It went up. So Wednesday's night's drawing is for, I think, about maybe 746, 300. So it's about it. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big, I believe. I think the last one was one back in April. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't even know. But the drawings are usually now held Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. What are the odds of winning the top Powerball prize? It's probably one in what? What would you say?
But probably 1 in a billion, I would guess. It's like crazy,
It's crazy.
So it's it's an interesting thing too, is that what are the most important things our kids could be learning in school would be what are finances? How do we break free? How do we this classic American dream of the pursuit of freedom, and freedom we often equate with money, and of course it's not the same, but for the people that it is, we'd say, because I was thinking about how little I learned about really how to be financially secure, and wouldn't that be a great thing to learn in school? Of course you won't learn it, because this wealth inequality works for the groups. And I was, even there was a while there where the idea for this generation, whatever they're calling the current generation, that, they will never need to own anything. Everything will just be rented. And talk about a great system for the top 10% of the country to own absolutely everything, for you to think, it's smarter to just rent everything. And of course, at some point they can just reject you from renting. You said something mean, you don't get your Netflix. You said something mean, you're out of your apartment. So it is this movement towards keeping people away from actually having true financial security. If you want to allow X amount of dollars, $5 a month to Powerball, let's say, say, hey, have some fun with it. Let's go. But the rest of the time should be towards, how do I invest this money? How do I pay off my credit card debts? How do I get the right kind of accounts? And none of us are taught that stuff, right? And you don't learn it until decades later, when, really when many people have had many financial failures. And so I really do hope that we get this, teach and learn to teach what our kids, so that we don't have to. The Powerball is just something that really is just a fun little thing that you do. For many people, it's like, this is my only ticket out, my only hope, and of course they're smashed every time,
Yeah.
and so and that's the danger, because that $5 that they spent could have been invested into a stock that was safe, and they would actually make money on it, and so, or whatever, a mutual fund, something, so this idea of getting
Did you say a mutant
average
mutant fund?
mutual
Oh,
fund.
I thought you said
that's
mutant
fine.
fund
All
right
right,
there.
I bet there is a mutant fund out there.
Debbie
And
Muller, thank you very much for the super
oh
chat.
my
Very
gosh, a
sweet of you.
steeple.
Steepling over there. Thank you, Debbie. Look at
And this is what we should do.
We
And
should
but
steep-
yeah, that's the idea. Is I think about how little education our kids get in terms of becoming the indentured servants, and
I
that's
know.
what happens. And so have fun with the Powerballs of the world, but think about how important your experience is of understanding America. Is that there's so many people so downtrodden by the system they don't have a place to go. They don't have and it makes it feel scary. Of course it does. I'm not saying different. And the idea that we could just walk out there and just just talk with everybody when we're already afraid, it's going to affect our communications in such a way where we couldn't talk to this fellow human being who's in this downtrodden state. And so what a great experience, really, because the whole reason you went there is because of this dream of the Powerball. That is what happens when we have that as our primary thing, and not going down to like how to take care of our money really, and have that be a fun thing. So
Listen, I'm still dreaming about the Disneyland for adults I went to. I went to Mutant City. I almost got killed to get this, and I got an angry wife yelling at me. You left me for too long. He's like yelling at me. The wife. It's like, what do you want? And then there's rules, and I got to go find another place to go to. It's like ridiculous. All this. It's so much work just to have fun. And that was our daytime, because we had
but then you went to, it was like at a casino, which is the same thing,
Oh,
kind of
don't even
gambling,
ask.
right? As far as that goes, and
don't
so
even ask.
doesn't that suck us down? And then the idea of going out and spending the money there again. There's so much.
First, can I tell you something about this casino?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Let me tell you something. I don't even know what I could say on this show, because I don't even know what I could do. And I don't want, I got to vent and rant, because you're like my therapy. Not only you're a doctor, you're my friend. I get to talk with you. You're a busy man. You're taking care of the sick out there. You think you want to spend your Sundays with me?
I'll do this hour, and hopefully we can reach people. And that's my hope, is that
that's your hope.
Yeah.
I try to show people that you're a human, that you're not only a doctor, you're a human.
I hope so.
Let me tell you something. All I want to do is hang with humans. So I figured, okay, we got my daughter, my daughter, the older one, my stepdaughter, but she's my daughter. She's the best to my daughter, Brooklyn. So she's like, go have fun, enjoy yourselves. And my friend comes out of town, Club Soda Kenny. He's great. Thank you, Club Soda. He took care of me, and got us rooms. But I'm so nuts, I can't enjoy anything. I go, I can't stay at the place. Let's go back home. But I kind of want to lay in this place. I go through the casino, and going through a casino, it's cigarettes. I smell the smoke. It's so dirty.
I know.
And then I go to the Amber. I go, I'm gonna open the door. Like a gentleman opens the door for his wife. Like me, I don't even want to touch it. I go, you go first. So anyway, Amber and I, we go through this thing, and we're looking at these people. These people are not human that go to these places. I mean, I'm going to get you in trouble right now. You never saw such creatures at these places. I didn't know they exist.
It's,
and where did they get the money to go? And
they don't see. They don't. Actually, that's the whole part of it. Is it's a part of the system for the very, very wealthy to keep the people subjugated, and unfortunately, that's what a casino is. And so, and there are a few winners, of course, and that's the hope. That's always what it's about. Is, oh, but that person won this on the slot machine or whatever they call them these days, and
there's slots over there, and I turn around. There's like a 1-to-1. I got some pictures of my adventure. I'll show you. So I go there with Amber and to this place, and I'm like, okay, Amber, we go, and then the night before we go, and I'm like, okay, so I got some pictures here to show you guys. So anyway, I I couldn't stay there. I go, Amber, let's go home. We'll go in the morning. So I go to meet my friend Club Soda Kenny, and we go to work out. So first of all, I have to go. It's a situation. So I go, Amber, I'll come back later. We'll go to the Bill Burr show. This is before I went for a lottery ticket. So I go looking for parking. I park all the way on the roof, if you could see that, because I got to take a picture of my parking spot. I get in the casino. It's a situation to get in there. I have my bag with me because I figure go check into the room. They go, you can't park. Go walk through the casino with your duffel bag. I go, what? Why not? I don't even know what the guy is saying. I don't even know how they hire half these people. Like, I go, what? They speak worse than me. I'm like, if I can't, I'm from Brooklyn. If I can't understand you, there's a real problem here because I don't understand myself sometimes. So I get out of this situation. Now I work out with Club Soda Kenny. We go to the gym and he's hungry. I go, okay. I go, and I'm talking about my cholesterol with this guy. I go, my cholesterol, the numbers are 311. And of course, it's always
you and your cholesterol.
And he goes to me, oh, you need to watch that. I know. We work out, we get a good workout. And in my head, my fingers are feeling numb. I don't know if it's me. Sometimes I get a slight pinch here. Is it the moment? Am I going to have a stroke right now in front of this in Mutant City here? I don't know, Dr. G. So now I go with Club Soda.
You actually do know because you have the evidence that can't happen. You just haven't listened to it.
I know that I know, but I'm so nuts. Then I read an article on Google that most strokes and heart attacks happen on Sundays and Mondays. And I think when we're close to Sunday, it might be my day.
But the lowest risk factor time is like Sunday as we're going to bed, and the highest risk factor time is Monday morning because of how we metabolize what Monday morning means to us. Think about how ironic that is that we can, as a human being, we can our perceptions of what it means to be Monday morning and going to work versus Sunday night and being relaxed. That's how dramatic a difference we translate the moment into the risk factor for a heart attack. And so that goes into showing how kind of perverse our view of the world is and how we have to recreate this perception. And that's the whole point is we move away from having to go to work into an office setting that we hate, etc. Everything about the way we've learned to be has been a manipulation. And so that's why, but that data is about you going to work that you dislike as compared to being home. And your perception of Sunday night being time with a family and we had a great weekend and that kind of stuff. And then, oh shit, Monday morning you wake up and it's back to work. That perception of the difference is what changes your stroke risk due to hormonal shifts and things that occur with that. And so it's all up there. And that's why
I'm my own worst enemy.
Everybody kind of is because they don't spend the time to know thyself so that they aren't so affected by all these occurrences.
This is why you have the cool necklace and you know what you're doing. See me, I think. Okay, so now here I am. I do my workout, right? I was going to show you. Maybe you could hear this. Hold on. Let's see if I could put this up for you because I got some sound effects here. Maybe you can't hear it. Hold on. Over here. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I should be more prepared for you guys. Let's see. Let's see if I can put this up here. I gotta be honest with you. Look at Kenny.
Is that Kenny in the background there?
That's Club Soda.
What a situation.
Club Soda, I mean.
Yeah, what a situation. I go, look at Kenny. Kenny's over there trying to order food.
Right.
That lady's telling him, and before this situation, we're in the casino. That's me and my gym workout.
Yeah.
The lady is telling us, I'm looking at the food. There's pastries. That's not healthy in the morning.
Right.
There's nothing there healthy. I go, egg whites. You have egg whites? We got liquid eggs. I go, liquid eggs, huh? Liquid eggs. I look at Kenny. The liquid eggs. I go, what are you going to get? And Kenny's like, I'm going to get some of this. And
right. But think about the program that still has you asking for egg whites because egg whites are less healthy for you than eating eggs. Okay.
Right now,
egg whites are?
Yes, because you eat the whole egg. The idea that cholesterol in your diet has effect on your cholesterol has been shown again about a gazillion times to not be true. So not eating the egg is the problem. And then people went to egg beaters and egg whites and whatever else. And the biggest, healthiest thing you can eat eggs. Okay, so now you want to find as much as you can free range chickens eggs because their diet is better. But the
Yeah.
idea that you think that egg whites still to this day, despite all the education otherwise, is better than eating eggs is actually the problem because of an enculturation that is unbelievably wrong and that forces us towards eating artificial shit, right? Like people think cream is bad for them, then they go get non-dairy creamer, which is like 100 times worse for you than the potential of cream. They actually just showed in studies that people who ate whole fat dairy, their overall mortality was 30% lower than people who did not. Okay, so how many people out there have been substituting for cream, whole fat dairy, and killing themselves because of this fear of cholesterol? Everything you do because of something you shouldn't be afraid of will end up killing you, Stefan. So stop doing it. Okay. I mean, and this is for everybody else out there. You've been given a lie to sell statin drugs. That's it. And he gave you an enemy, cholesterol and saturated fats. None of it was true. Okay. But they had to create the enemy to scare you into taking the drugs. And of course, a cholesterol level primarily driven up by eating the carbohydrates. So the win-win is by switching your diet to a worse diet, it caused more hypercholesterolemia, more obesity, more of the very things. It was the greatest sales pitch to sell drugs ever because we convinced you to eat a diet you weren't supposed to eat. You're still to this day asking for egg whites when it's the worst thing you could be doing. Okay. All because you still believe a previous, it's again, this mythologies that people cling to, which is why we're always so scared about people and their mythologies.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is a science mythology. Just like when we have so many troubles with the vaccine, people want to cling to it being good or bad. It's just like it's good, it's evil. No, it's nothing. It's something that we evaluate. So the nutrition we're talking about, that's something good there could have been some fruit, it could have been some veggies, it could have been some eggs. What we would have loved to be, you're not in a casino going to find free range chicken eggs. Okay?
You think I would have been? You got any free range chicken eggs here?
See, that ain't gonna happen. So you do the best you can and say, I'll have some eggs, and by the way, some cheese. Okay, so because I want to make sure you hear this: whole fat cheese is associated with a 30% reduction in mortality. That's the thing you're talking about trying to cut out, right? Okay, but killing yourself.
You should have been with me on my guy day over here at the gym.
So actually eat real foods, people. That's the whole issue. Anything that gets you towards not eating real food is the problem. Okay. So eat real food. And so that's such an important fact, actually. And so now listen to your own body if you eat eggs. So for instance, Miranda eats a lot more eggs than I do. I just don't feel that great when I eat eggs, and it's not because I'm afraid of them. I eat them like once or I don't know, every couple of weeks, whereas Miranda eats them all the time.
So don't separate, eat the whole egg together, right?
Eat the whole egg. It's a good food, and there's good things. Arachidonic acid, one of the most important fats for the brain, is in the egg yolk. Okay,
see, this is good. This is good that I get to hear this. This is Cholesterol Sunday, everybody. We're watching. This is Cholesterol Sunday. So this is
the whole idea is forget about cholesterol. Listen to yourselves. We're being so programmed that we're not listening to ourselves. Okay. So yes, you can eat cheese. Try to make it as much as you can, organic grass-fed cheese as much as you can. But when you go out to eat, you're not always going to find that. I get that. But is it a better choice to eat the cheese from, I don't know where, whatever restaurant people go to, Applebee's, I don't know. Than it is the bread. Yes. Okay. And so try to eat as real foods as possible, people. It's really simple. And then listen to yourself. And then again, everybody's listen. It's made, it's funny as a doctor. I started my career before the internet even. Okay. So let alone social media, let alone podcasts, all these other things. And everybody, the saying in Latin is everybody's a tabula rasa, which just means a blank slate. Okay, tabula rasa. And it's so much easier to help treat people and teach them what to do when they're blank slates. Nowadays, everybody has seen so many podcasts filled with so much misinformation and sometimes tidbits of good stuff too, that it's almost impossible to be the doctor. It really is, right now as to be a doctor is actually brutal. Okay, it really is, because there's so many people who think they know what to do, and I'm essentially they're using the doctor as either somebody to go see somebody else. I want you to refer me to somebody who really knows what they're doing, and or they tell you what tests they need to do, or what things they should be taking. So it's I would tell people no, medicine is actually still quite difficult. Just like fixing your own computer, unless you're really good at it, I'd probably hire somebody or get a new one. But when it comes to your own body and fixing it, yeah, it's your own job to listen to yourself. This idea that you have to go outward is the biggest thing. Is how do I know what to eat? You eat real food, and I do better when I eat blueberries. Eat more blueberries. Do better when I eat more steak. Eat more steak. And how do you know you're doing better? Well, you feel better. Your energy's better. You're less achy. Your weight's better. Whatever the combination is. And so
It's common sense.
it's
Organic.
actually common to be organic and real. And no, not everything's going to come through AI. Everybody. And so I am definitely the OG. So, but I do think we've lost so much because of this trend towards the worst medicine nowadays. I mean, to me, the average doctor today is so bad at what they do because it's these tiny little short visits they've agreed to be part of. That only through your insurance company, only through this whatever, and everybody else feels the same way. I only want to do a $5 copay and get the drug that my insurance covers, right? Okay.
No.
And they're just missing out on most of the healing, which really could come from themselves. Okay. And so, but like with this moment, the idea is that, of course, eat in as few casinos as you
Well,
can.
I'll show you.
I know that, but yeah.
These people over there, they're not eating organic. You could tell,
No,
and you
of
could
course
tell,
not.
and they turn into mutants because they're looking for. These people turn into mutants because they're eating. This is cheaper. This
Right.
is easier. And you're
right.
buying stuff that'll make you glow in the dark, and you're putting in your
Right.
body. Check me out over here. Watch this for a second. I'll show you.
Mhm.
This is me in Mutantville. Watch.
Right now, I'm in a situation.
Yeah,
having
and what?
breakfast with club soda.
Right. And what do you buy at a place like this, right?
Terrible.
Yeah.
At least the coffee is free.
Why don't you
Look at
keep you awake? And there's
Now watch
Coffee Mate.
this.
That Coffee Mate. That's
Andrew,
exactly what I've been talking
having
about.
breakfast with club soda.
Now I go over here to
What a situation
I call-
we're in.
I send a text message to Andrew Dice Clay, right?
Andrew, having breakfast with club soda. What a situation we're in.
Is that guy connected or what?
That's Club Soda Case. What a face, huh?
Yeah,
You
what a
see it?
phase. Exactly. It's like, I'm not going to mess with Club
And then-
Soda.
Restaurant.
This is the restaurant. Look.
Yeah. It's
At least the coffee is
the
free.
black coffee, but look at the advertisements where the sodas. It's
wife
the
wants
Coffee
to
Mate,
know.
which is like the worst substance known to humanity.
This is
So yeah, you're right. It's and the things that are invented.
There's the food. There's the food.
Right. What are
Watch
you supposed
this.
to do? Because the oils that they be cooking in it aren't the best, but you would just try to maybe eat some of the eggs, some of the potatoes. You'd have to eat, something to get you through,
Look at that.
But the rest, yeah. But I'm not pretending that.
Look at
it's
Club
all high
Soda.
quality. Yeah. Well, at least you're going for a workout. Get some good water. Get some coffee in the morning. So.
That was my.
All did
that was
that,
it.
yeah.
That was my
Yeah.
situation.
But yeah, don't try to eat as real foods as you can. Bring things with you when you can. And so it's yeah, I think that this whole movement toward keeping as most misinformed as possible, when that one news company, which unequivocal paid $780 million because they're misinforming everybody. Their entire purpose is to misinform you. The world is misinformed right now. I much prefer uninformed. And so,
Yeah.
and
Would you eat this, Dr. G?
If I was super hungry, I would eat. Yes, I would, but why did I end up there? The question is how we put ourselves in these positions. But so would I eat that when I was hungry and I'm at the casino? Yes, I would. Okay,
You would.
but yeah, because I'm hungry. And
Not
so
me.
would I try to avoid the situation as much as I could? Yes. Okay. I mean, and I would eat as much as I could to kind of get through, like the satiety thing and keep my energy levels going. But yes, I would avoid that situation as much as possible.
You know what I went and did? I go, Club Soda, why don't you go get Bill here to go? Get Bill at the air. I go, you go get Bill Burr at the airport. I'm going home to make an Orgain protein shake because all good stuff in there. And I'm gonna
Right.
and I'll meet you later. And that's
Mhm.
what I did. So I win, left the
Right.
casino. This is how nuts I am.
Okay. Well, but
I wouldn't
does
even
that
drink their
take away from
coffee.
the experience? So, yeah. So you have to say, well, again, you're in there, and there are times, of course. I remember once. Uh, Miranda hates it when I give the whole context for the story. A group told us to go to Burger King for breakfast, and it's like, okay, and I swear that the eggs, the hash browns, and whatever meat was there was made of the same thing with different colorants, and they're just rubbery and just not even identifiable as food. And I'm thinking, this is what most people think is food, and it was horrible. And so crazy, and I did that. Well, the only thing I can get here is the coffee, and I got and the coffee was horrible. I mean, it's what the average person is accepted as being okay is really
Andrew,
quite tragic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, let me tell
Mhm.
you something. To me, going to this place, it's like being lost somewhere and you got to use the men's room, but you don't want to use that toilet there because it's so filthy and dirty. You can't wait to go home.
Hmm.
That's the situation I was in.
Right.
I
And
couldn't
so,
wait to go make my own protein shake.
right.
Couldn't. Anyway, that was my.
Would I try to avoid that specific cafeteria? Yes, I would. If I was, and again, if you're feeling well enough and your energy was fine and you didn't need to eat anything there, like you didn't, then I wouldn't have eaten anything there.
Yeah.
So would I've chosen to eat there? No. Okay,
Well,
but
that's what I get.
right.
That was. We had a time,
Hmm.
alone time. Amber and I had guy
Right.
time. I had the weekend to do whatever I want.
Right.
I went to
And you went,
Newtonville.
yeah,
And
got Orgate, went your own food. So,
I went.
but
Yeah.
but try to bring your stuff with you when I travel. I have
You're right.
mixed nuts that I bring with me and some protein bars that are good for me, so I don't end up eating things like that. Okay,
Oof, oof.
so now again, if I'm absolutely starved and that's all that's left, then I'll have this idea that your digestive tract still has the ability to bring in what's good out of that and crap out the rest. And that's what I do is I visualize, hey, my body I know that if I don't overwhelm it, I can eat stuff that's not very good for me, and I can crap out the bad oils, I can crap out the whatever. So that's the way I would look at it is trust your body's ability, as long as it's not overwhelmed, to crap out the stuff that's not good for you. And that's the way I look at it. It's like my body can take in out of these eggs the good stuff, and whatever adulterants in the oils or whatever they cooked it in, I can let go of, and
Who knows what they cooked it in that place over there? Let me tell you.
exactly. But the whole idea is trust your body that can get rid of this stuff, as long as you're not doing this all the time, which, like you were saying, the employees there probably ate their meals there or whatever else and are overcharged for them. They don't get them for free, etc. So
It
it is
makes you
all part
really
of the
think.
system.
It does make you really think how just
Mhm.
America, what we
Right.
put in our bodies and
And
how we don't
and
take
look care at
of
the people in
ourselves.
the casinos. I used to when we'll go to Vegas and watch people there because it's
Yeah.
great people, but it's people watching from a standpoint of the sadness of seeing people hypnotized and just punching
Yeah.
the button or pulling on the old days pulling
Oh,
the
absolutely.
and it was they're just so numb.
Yeah.
And it was you could tell that's what they were doing is numbing
They're
themselves
falling
out
asleep at the slot machines. They
right.
just
And it's just, think about the sadness behind that, and they think they might tell their friends they had a good time and they won one of the jackpots. And of course, your mind will pick the one really good memory, like the golfer who remembers the one good golf shot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You remember the peak moment, if you will, and that's what keeps you coming back, and
You're
so.
sitting in a smoky room like this
Mhm.
with turn the slots or
Right.
pushing the buttons.
Right.
Pushing the
And
buttons.
Debbie was
Sad.
saying, like, some people are addicted, and I get that. And it's gambling is own addiction. I'm lucky. I've never been
I agree. Wasting money.
had that addiction as far as that goes. When we went to Vegas, but to show how times have changed when been more financially secure. When I first used to go there, I said, all right, a quarter for gambling this trip, one quarter. And so then I worked all the way up to $5. I'm up to $10 now. I'll allot $10 to gambling. And once the $10 is gone, I'm done. But that's just because and of course that's probably why I would never win, because I don't have the mindset of somebody who's going to win. But I look at it as like, have some fun, get a drink or two. talk to some, some fun people, the ones that are more lively there, because you can meet new
Trust me, you're
people
not
there.
talking to me. I'm not talking to nobody out there. I
Yeah.
had an adventure this weekend. I hung out with Club Soda. I went to Min's Grocery to get the Powerball. I
Right.
better win something. I better even win $50 over here. I don't know what. I had an adventure.
Mhm.
But it was
Right.
scary, Dr. G. Hey, Dr. G,
Mhm.
you don't even know what's going on. Dr. G didn't
I
even
don't.
know. He doesn't know what's going on in the world.
Mhm.
But for everybody here watching, we got the good doctor here, and make sure in the links down below. I always do this, but if you want to join and chat with us, become a member. Just join the member right here on YouTube. It supports the channel. And if you need any vitamins or supplements, go 20% coffee 20 and go to Dr. G's website right here. If you're over 55, forget about 10%. You get 20% off right now. Links are in our description. Get some supplements, and remember, get some real eggs, and don't listen to ADIKA. Liquid eggs are trying to sell me over there. I should have just had. I would have FaceTime you right
Cream.
there.
Cream, organic, grass-fed cream, not Cremora or whatever.
Well, I wasn't going to go for
coffee
that
mate,
that
whatever,
vanilla coffee mate. That stuff was just leaking out of the machine. It was like a bad. Ugh.
Yeah, it's
So,
probably.
I just couldn't. I just wanted to run home and be with a yelling child and a mad wife face. I just wanted to sit in my house with the kid yelling at me and the wife mad at me, and them all saying, "You don't want to go anywhere." And Amber, if you're watching, this is why I don't want to go anywhere. I went out this weekend. We had date night, and you know what I learned? It's nice in my own home with my Vitamix, and that's it.
You got to expand your experiences, dude. I mean, ask her what she likes, and if she likes going to a play, go to a play. I mean, that's what. If we go out into Nashville, that's usually to the TPAC of the Tennessee Performing Arts Center, and watch a musical or something else like that, and we'll find a fun restaurant that we really like to go to, that has good quality food, and that'll be our date, as far as it goes. And then we'll go a show, and then we'll come back home, so find something, but that's something that Miranda likes to do, and I like to do too. I mean, so it's good cultural experience, and there's so many things like that.
My wife wants to. Don't even start trouble. My wife wants to travel the world. That's what she wants to do. Look at this, the Eiffel Tower behind me. That's what she wants to do. All right. Well, look, I'm always plugging something. My wife wants to travel. I'm not going to ask what she wants to do because she'll be planning a trip already, and I have no. My wife's too expensive for me. She's caviar, and she's married.
She's a fancy, wonderful lady. So
she's too expensive.
Let her help take care of you. You guys figure out the expenses and plan the trips.
I want to stay home and watch just like old school. I like watching it, true crime and investigations and scary things, and just sit in my world in my mind, and just like that's it.
That's a scary world.
If I'm feeling numb, but check it. It is scary. But check this out. I don't know if you know about this, and you probably don't know. You know about the Long Island serial killer? That's what they captured him this weekend, Dr. G. You don't know about this guy?
Unfortunately, he's been captured.
This is a crazy by pizza. They've been watching him, and they because the fat bastard's over there eating pizza, and he couldn't even do the crime right. The Columbo would have had a feast with this guy.
A literal feast.
Yeah, the pizza crust, the DNA, they found it in the pizza crust. And that's how they snatched it. He ate a piece of pizza. He threw out he didn't eat the crust. The guy didn't eat the crust, and he threw the pizza box on the Fifth Avenue in there. And they've been watching him. They snapped the DNA.
The DNA.
Yeah.
Found out.
This is crazy. This has been going on for decades. I didn't even know there's a serial killer in Long Island. And I
did not either.
This is what's so crazy. My mom is buried right by West Babylon over there, where they found bodies.
Right.
True crime stuff. My mom used to love this stuff, and
my
condolence to the family. I'm not trying to make this into something,
Right.
That's why I put my mom.
They found this guy.
Yeah, my mom. I put her in the story because she's not here, but she'd be yelling right now at me. Can you believe what they just found over there? But yeah, there's been bodies and bodies. This guy apparently has been going after sex workers, right? He's been dumping bodies off the beaches in Long Island. Now, I'm summing this up for everybody out there, and you probably know about this, but this is a crazy story. And here he is. Look at this guy. This guy was an architect. He was on a YouTube, some podcast, interviewing this guy. But look at him now. This is his mugshot, this handsome son of a bitch. The infamous Long Island suspect, Rex Heuermann was arrested and charged. I don't even know if I'm saying the name right. Was with the murders of 3 women, and I never heard of this beach, Gilgo Beach killings. And this is crazy. He was an architect that may have learned the tricks of the slaying trade by watching CSI TV series.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, and this is a crazy. Here's a video of him getting arrested right here. Check this out right here.
A 9-year-old architect and father of 2 was arrested outside his Manhattan office on Thursday, charged in 3 of the Gilgo Beach killings. Heuermann is accused of killing 3 women, Amber Costello, Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, and suspected in the murder of a 4th, Maureen Brainerd Barnes. All 4 were found in a wooded stretch of beach in December 2010, their bodies wrapped in hunting burlap. They were each in their 20s, petite and working as escorts. Investigators say they linked Heuermann to the killings through phones, his car, a Chevrolet Avalanche, and DNA lifted from this pizza.
There it is. There's the pizza. And the guy even drives the same kind of car I have. I go, Amber, the guy has the same vehicle that I got. And there's the evidence. You can't even make this up.
That's kind of nasty, huh? I can understand why I didn't need anything that's in there. But
That's good advertisements for the pizza place if they would have got the box cover on there, huh?
Yeah,
Outside his Manhattan office.
We've really done a good job of getting all of these disparate pieces and putting it together. This arrest affords us an opportunity to get a whole large amount of information because we're executing search warrants simultaneously with the arrest.
Prosecutors said Heuermann took this selfie he sent using a disposable phone to solicit people for sex.
Look at that picture. That's the picture he's putting out there to get some sex. What about that picture, Dr. G?
just looks like and so wow.
Investigators say
This
they were
is
able to connect
2010.
burner phones to the victim.
That's
It's
2010.
Too bad that 13 years it took to get. I'm glad they got him, but obviously,
What do they say over here about this guy? Let's see.
Correct.
What were his exact words?
I did not do this.
I did not do this.
Correct.
A judge ordered Heuermann held
Of course he's going to say he did. What were his exact words? I did not do this. I can't wait to forward the page on this and to see what he has to say. Watch it.
without bail. Prosecutors said he was still using burner phones to keep tabs on the investigation, search for child pornography, and solicit sex workers. As for the 6 other victims found on Gilgo Beach, the district attorney says the investigations into those cases will continue.
6
Jacqueline
others.
Lee,
Wow.
ABC News, New York.
That's crazy. And here it's such a crazy thing, Dr. G. Let me see. What's Debbie? That reminds me of Gacy. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Here he is on some podcast. Just see this. There he is over there. Let's see if I could get the sound of this guy talking. This is some podcast guy show, and I took some of this. Let's see.
Rex Heuermann. I'm an architect. I'm an architectural consultant. I'm a troubleshooter. Born and raised on Long Island.
Okay.
Been working in Manhattan since 1987. I have one tool that's pretty much used in almost every job, and it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
Okay. Cabinet maker hammer. Okay.
It is persuasive enough when I need to persuade something.
Not someone.
Something. Sometimes I have to be the heavy framing hammer. Other times I'm the lightweight hammer just to nudge things along.
Oh, somebody's going to be nudging something in him along in prison. They're going to be going after him, huh? This guy. Crazy story.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
That's again, you think that's this part of the detective work that's the 13 years that's been missing, that this guy still being able to go out and do what he's been doing.
Oh, look
how
at
difficult it is to make a case. And I'm, obviously very much respect the entire, police force getting enough evidence together, but it's crazy.
This is where these are the people that I took a screenshot of it, or put a picture up here for you guys. Right. And these women, there's been some Dateline shows about this
really?
shoot. Yeah, about the crimes before they caught him. But one of them was a man, and then one of them, it looked like there was a woman and a female toddler. So identified. They don't know if you see
involved in all of them.
They don't know if he's involved in all of them. But let's be honest here. Look how close he's dumped all the bodies.
Right.
apparently he was taking his truck or his car, his vehicle, and just on the side of the road and dumping each person. And these girls, they had they had troubles. One one girl, I believe her husband or boyfriend pimped her out. He was like a pimp,
Right.
and they had children. They had problems, but
Right.
one was a man. I think they're
Right.
saying it could have been a transvestite. I don't know,
Right.
but it's crazy. It's
Again, it goes back to our society. We're still criminalizing sex work, and why did these poor women have to do this, and with that, and not in a safe way, and that creates for these predators. So this guy
Yeah.
finding the mass murderer, great and all, but what created the mass murderer? Think about how many, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars the police force spent trying to find this guy, and instead of us protecting these women, before he kills them.
and
that's
he lived right over there. He lived right where his Asian male is. I think his home was right above over there, like up there. He lived right by the
Wow,
crime.
that's just
So
crazy how many people. And so the that's so that's. But I also think this, it's great they caught them. Think about the money spent to try to catch them. Think about if that money was towards protecting women, decriminalizing all the sex work, making nothing of this illegal, so that they didn't have to do the subterfuge, so that that they have no protection. And so it's again, and it's crazy what we accept as being okay, because we've criminalized everything. We make it so obvious that this is going to happen, and so our country is so screwed up in terms of how we have the highest rate of incarceration in our country. It's everything is about criminalizing things instead of saying, well, some people do sex work and I don't have to agree with it, but making it illegal does not stop it. Clearly, it just gets people killed, money wasted on policing to try to find people, killing the people that they don't agree with it, and it goes on and on. How we this again, this it's immoral again.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you. It's so crazy over
Great
here. I put, this guy is doing a YouTube show with him, right? Sitting with this guy right here. Okay, he has it's an architect YouTube show, whatever. And this guy is a head of this architect firm.
Right.
If you go online, look at this guy's home, it looks like a disaster. Doesn't look like anything.
Really.
And this has been going on forever. So this YouTube guy
Right.
is sitting with this crazy guy. This has been going on since 1966. The remains of 8 women, 1 male transvestite, and 1 little girl had been found dumped all around Long Island in that map I just showed you. And the killer attempted to remove an identifying tattoo from 1 victim. This is how sick this guy is.
Right.
Now, it's not proven that he did it, but
Right.
odds are he did do it. He
Right.
also dismembered the adults, wrapped their body parts in burlap or plastic, scattered the pieces around. So this guy took the time to do all this stuff. And then he was going on Craigslist looking. He had a certain height. He was looking for these people.
Wow.
Like, it's just sick. A father of 2.
Right.
A guy who has a business on 5th Avenue. You think you think this interview thought he was sitting with this Ted Bundy-ish type guy here? It's and just how casual this guy is.
Right.
It's
It's they always say, "Oh, I can't believe it's him." How many times have you heard that? I can't believe it's so and so. He was quiet, whatever. He was respected in the community. It doesn't mean
sick,
they aren't.
sick
That they don't
psychopath.
have these things. And again, it's too bad that we create people such as him. But I still think about protecting the beforehand, because when we do medicine, it's about finding things before there's a disease. Okay, so why don't we look at the conditions that cause this? And the answer is criminalization of sex work. That's what creates this. And I'm not saying it would completely eliminate it, because there's but if you make a safe space for these women, a safe space for the customers, if you will, and not make it criminal. You don't have to agree with it, but it's, again, tax it, and then you make money out of it. It goes on and on about how we don't have to do this. And that's why it's tragic, because I feel so bad for the parents of those young ladies who got killed.
Oh my God, the parents, their kids, because they all had children, these young ladies,
and they were just had beaten down by the system, had no other way of getting. So even Elon Musk was saying that eventually the universal basic income will become about. I hope it does, so that people have choices, because right now we think we're free in our country, and did those women really have a choice, and they thought not, or they wouldn't be doing escort services in the way that they had to on the down low, because it's illegal, so that people like this can get away with it again and again, because they can't advertise, this is what I do. So and so came in here, they had a regular booked appointment at my condo for sex, and none of that would have happened, because the last time we saw she was with this guy, and he wouldn't do it,
Yeah.
because the system is set up so that we create people like him, and it just
A
just
monster.
obviously it bothers me, so because
He faces right now charges of 3 counts of murder in the first degree and 3 counts of murder in the second degree. If convicted, he will face life in prison without parole, which it doesn't
but
look
then
good.
think about how much money was spent to find him, how much money was spent to prosecute him, and how much money will be spent to imprison him. Okay. And that money spent to protect our kids from from being abused like that and murdered like this, and we're so bass backwards in terms of what we value, because even if he gets life in prison, the system worked. No, the system is what created him, and we spent probably millions of dollars to find finally, after
Right.
how many murders, to get them. So
I say torture him. Torture him. I say torture. That's what I say. Torture. Don't make it comfortable. I don't want no cream in my coffee, please. I torture the son of a bitch.
Right.
That's what I say.
I understand that emotion, obviously.
That's it. I mean, these poor innocent people. I mean, life had beaten them down, and then they meet this monster right there. And that's not going to be the last monster. There's going to be more of these type of animals out there that we got to protect our children from.
Right.
Oh man,
that's why we need
we need more love in
bottom
the
up.
world.
We need more loving kindness.
love.
We need taking care of people, because the certain part of things that think of socialism is anything that oh my gosh, there's kids getting lunch at school for free. Oh yes, yay is what I say, as compared to oh my gosh, think about how much money we could save doing that, instead of we'll spend money creating situations where we have our children murdered. And so it's just so yes, we need balancing capitalism with balanced social care, because we have a police force called socialism. We have a fire department called socialism. We have roads called socialism. So again, we just have to look at this whole thing where we balance our social structure such that people like this have the hardest time existing, and they will still be out there, but we will actually have a better world when we start caring for people instead of caring about imprisoning asswipes.
Well, now they got and then last
guys
week.
like
No,
this.
this is what this is what it is. And Debbie was referring to one of the episodes we did, and it's actually in my members only right here, and you could see the whole episode of John Henry Brown, who was the attorney for Ted Bundy, and Sergeant Bale. If you remember that story, Sergeant Bale had a breakdown, and he went and killed about 16 or 19 civilians in Afghanistan. And John Henry Brown was the defense attorney, but he has an interesting story, from his music, from hanging out with Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, to representing Ted Bundy. If you want to see that episode, join in members only. Full episodes there. It's a conversation. He didn't really want to talk much about Ted, but I did get some out of him. And very interesting cat. He's like Forrest Gump. He hung out with Janis Joplin. He dated Jackie Kennedy's niece. And the weird story about him was his girlfriend was murdered, and they never found her killer. And was it Ted Bundy? Because Ted kind of stalked him out to get him to be his attorney. You'll find that story interesting. So check that out in our VIP All Access. But hey, you got Manson's woman, Leslie Von Houten was just freed from jail for a crime that, you think about that, the way the system is like, maybe she didn't do the actual killing, but she did hold down the couple, the Biancas, and now she's in her late 70s. She's free from jail, living in a halfway house, just to be watched over. I don't know if she should have been released. I think she did a crime, and she was a part of it. I think she should still be in jail, because the families of these people that are surviving, and without their grandparents and without their uncles and nieces, whatever, they have to see something like this now released from jail, and maybe they were under the influence of somebody like Manson, but you did a crime, you got to do the time. And That, you
But
know,
what is the right amount of time? In most societies, you actually try to rehabilitate people so they can come back and be part of a functional part of society. And, I'm not saying that'll even happen to this last guy, but, with this lady, she served for however many decades, right? And so at what point is there a time where you can say this person can come back and actually function in society instead of us paying our prisons? So remember, we have this enormously in prison population. We think it's normal when we're absolutely the most abnormal country in the entire world in terms of how many people we keep imprisoned. So no, we actually do need to rehabilitate these people, and we need experts to say who is safe to go back out. But the idea that they should never leave, again, that's against human nature, because people can. Was an influenceable young woman who was brainwashed. And again, just like you're brainwashed into eating egg whites, it's the same concept.
I
And
guess
so
so.
you're still doing it. All the evidence is different. So it's, and so you say that what you're doing is obviously criminal, but but on that order, what so many people out there being brainwashed already into
I
doing
know.
such horrible things,
I
so
know. I know.
and so yes, can they be rehabilitated? Most of the times there's very few people like this architect guy that go about and then eventually become probably addicted to murdering, and so
CSI. He watched CSI, took it too far.
Right.
Like Psycho.
Right.
This is the world we live in. Now, just now in breaking news here, here's something. I don't even have a thumbnail, but you like baseball?
Yeah.
You do? Remember Johnny Bench?
Of course.
He was like a hero of mine.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Reds.
Now he's making anti-Semitic comments over here, Johnny Bench. You hear about this?
No.
Johnny Bench makes anti-Semitic comment at Reds Hall of Fame induction news conference. Yeah. Baseball Hall of Famer Johnny Bench made an anti-Semitic comment during a pregame news conference to honor the three newest members of the Reds Hall of Fame, one of whom former Reds general manager Gay Paul was Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jewish. My people right there.
Yeah.
Paul's daughter, Jenny Paul, was in attendance to represent Paul, who passed away in 1998, along with former Reds pitchers Bronson Ario and Danny Graves. During the event, Pete Rose started to tell a story about Paul, noting, when I got out of high school in 1960, Gay Paul signed me to a contract for $400 a month. Wow, think about that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes, that cheap blank, never mind. Then Bench said he was Jewish. There it is. Several people in the audience laughed. Others did not.
Right.
Paul later said she didn't know what Bench had said. I didn't even hear him say that, she said. Johnny came up to me and said, were you offended? I was like, for what? Paul said. I didn't even hear him say that. I suppose if I have heard him say that, I might have said something, but I didn't even hear him say that. So Jenny Paul.
He reiterated the stereotype that he, how deep was he into it? That's the problem. And I think, when we see like, we have a state senator right now saying white supremacists are just part of that. That's not racism, which of course it is. So we have normalized racism. We've normalized, all these forms of hate in our society, so that it would become more normal to say something like that and think it's okay, right? And so it used to be 20, 30 years ago, a comment would say something about, oh, he was Jewish, he was cheap, and that would be a joke, right? And so, and because, that was part of the stereotype, right?
But I make all the time Jewish jokes because I'm Jewish, but am I allowed
you're
to
allowed
do
to
that?
do it because,
I'm Jewish.
and so on that order, the idea is that how much we've and that's why, and somebody would say getting offended at that would be woke, okay, and not even knowing what woke means, and I don't even know what they mean by it, but the idea is to wake up. Okay, and so wake up and say, no, we got to be careful about these stereotypes because they continue to transmit a message that is other. Okay, that we're not that. So, and I hopefully they caught Johnny Bench. Hopefully it was a part of his old programming. But what we're seeing in today's world is that it's normalized the spreading of hatred, the crimes against the Jewish community since the
Yeah.
Trump and beyond has just been horrific, right? Because he's normalized anti-Semitism, he's normalized racism, and that whole faction on the right has normalized hatred to the point where we have literally senators of our country, okay, that are elected to be racist hate mongers, and that's what we have right now. And so it is a dire situation. It really is. And so but the hope is that Johnny Bench, was just, grew up in an era that you and I did, and he's older than us. That that was what he was going back to old comedian stuff, and that wasn't really. It wasn't meant to be that way. Even though he has to learn that we're trying to wake up to realize that spreading those kinds of things does create an energy that allows people to think, wow, I can go hate Jewish people, which has been done before with tragic results.
Well, you know what? Johnny Bench should have known better. You're not Jewish. Don't make the Jew jokes. Let ADIKA do the Jew
exactly.
the Jew jokes
Exactly.
over there. You know, and I'm allowed to do this. You know,
well,
it's like I'm like, and Jewish people get the bad rap, even like their private parts. Like, I hang like a pimple. I'm a Jew. Like what is like my wife goes, why do you say that all the time? Why you always make jokes about you private? They're too. I'll probably get in trouble now. Who's going to come after me? Who am I going to offend here?
I don't think
the only person that watches my show is Debbie Muller. Debbie, don't be mad.
Debbie, mad about his.
I love Debbie Muller. Thank God I have her. Thank God that for Debbie.
Yeah.
But I came and make every time my wife goes on your show. I have to be careful what I have to say. Even my wife gets mad. She watches everything. You said that word wrong. You pronounced the word wrong. I'm like, what do you want, Amber? Because why do you always got to say you're so small? Why? It's so disgusting. You married me, Amber. You should have known what you were going to marry when you said I do. You married. So
it's funny because even just with I just drive her crazy with I call Dr. Seuss Dr. Zeus, and just it's Seuss. And it's like, no, Doctor. And I have little Leo. It's like, Daddy's reading Dr. Zeus tonight, and it's like, ha ha ha, ha. And she just like that. Yeah, so I agree. So just those little things. They're just worth it. It's worth it. Just to see Miranda's face when I say Dr. Zeus.
But before you put the ring on the finger, everything is okay. And then let me tell you something. Me and you could talk with guy talk. They're not here to wives. The snoring. My wife never snored. I'm whispering. I don't want her to hear. Now she snores. It's like you don't even know. It's like a choir of mutants. I'm like, what the? It's like earthquake. I hear it from the second floor. I'm walking up. I go, oh boy. And then I kind of sneak in the bedroom. I have the Sonicare toothbrush. I like that white teeth. My wife goes, "You always got to go to the dentist. You always got to. What's with you to the dentist? You go after too much. That's right. I'm gonna. Debbie Muller, Debbie, you, and Dr. G. We're here together as a family right now. Yeah. This is the coffee talk hour. The wives aren't with us, so my wife, I have to sneak in there. I had this rumbling. She doesn't wait, but I put the Sonicare on, and it's like Bigfoot over there sleeping on the side of the bed. I'm on the other side. It's like I gotta can't put the light on. I'm like treating over there, like I'm in prison. I got in the dark. I have to use my cell phone to shine the light on the toothbrush, and then I turn it on really quick to get in bed. Oh, don't even ask, because she has to fall asleep, and I know it's like my wife is over there rumbling and grumbling, and I don't complain. I said I do forever. I don't. So I pronounce a word wrong. So what? I make jokes about my prick and say it's maybe tiny. Who cares?
Exactly.
Right? Who cares? It's my prick.
It's your prick.
Do I live in a world? Right? I live in a world. It's my prick and my Sonicare, and I'll do what I want to do, Dr. G.
Exactly.
Oh my God, Dr. G. Really quick, you didn't know, but I want to ask you a question because this is doctor hours, and I was curious about this because I can't believe you didn't even know about this. You didn't even know Lisa Marie Presley passed away. What's wrong with you?
How long ago? What was it?
A long time ago. I even did a show. You don't even watch my show, Dr. G. You're so sick of me too. But Lisa Marie Presley passed away, and I have to ask you a question over here because there was a TMZ talked about this drug that prompts weight loss, and he was what's it called? How do you say?
Okay, the brand name is Ozempic, capital Ozempic, and it's a diabetes classically used for treating diabetes.
Apparently, she was on that, and they're saying that could have been maybe a cause of her passing with the intestines and whatever doing something to the insides. What is now?
Well, I was concerned about these medicines long before it became so popular for weight loss in terms of delayed gastric emptying. Sorry, slowing your stomach from moving on, moving things through. And there were some reports of pancreatitis, which can be a very fatal condition. And pancreatitis just means an inflamed pancreas. And so so I was fairly cautious in using the medicines, and it became wildly popular to just use it for weight loss, of course. And so because it does suppress your appetite, people do lose weight with these medicines. And there's oral versions of this semaglutide, the medicine that's in there, that will be out. There's other medicines that might even be injections that are even better than Ozempic for weight loss. And especially with the obesity epidemic, there's going to be quite a push to make obesity a disease and therefore use it as a treatment for that. And again, it still falls into the category of it would be a lifelong drug treatment, and would it continue to work because the studies don't follow it out for 5 to 10 plus years, and does it continue to work at what dosages, and what would be the long-term side effects of this class of medicines? And so
there's all mixtures going on here, because now it's the autopsies coming in and they're saying Lisa Marie Presley died of small bowel obstruction. Yeah.
Okay.
And
it could potentially be related to that medicine.
It could be related to that, but she had a surgery.
Okay. If she had a surgery.
What's it called? What's the word for the what's that? Some surgery. What's it called?
There's adhesions for small bowel obstruction, and
yes.
So the adhesions are fibrous bands that can form within the abdominal cavity, and the intestines can get wrapped around, and that's been happening forever, long before Ozempics or whatever else. And so, and the idea is, I think, to get people to accept, that they need to approach their nutrition, their exercise, their stress management. Because why do we talk about that? Why do I think finances are so important for the average person? Because the longer you stay suppressed like this, the more you eat at the casino place and whatever else, and you become part of this system that is going to make you obese. There is a cult. It goes into trickle down economics, that the reason the obesity is so common now has to do with all the forces that keep people suppressed, and they treat themselves with she's talking about bariatric surgery, which is you can do gastric bypasses and a variety of gastric banding and other things to try to help with weight loss.
Lisa Marie
as well.
had that surgery.
Oh, had she? Okay.
Yeah.
And so yes. And how safe is that medicine with that previous surgery? Again, I off the top of my head, I actually don't know, even though I guess it has been studied. And so in that order, you just have to be careful with this idea that the drug is going to save you, because it's really a whole host of influences, stress and lack of exercise and too much television, too much screen time, that has led to the increase in adipose tissues. And when I say it that way, it's just we have to be careful about this, painting people as bad because of extra weight, because that's the same thing. Oh, you're a Jew. Oh, you're this color. You have to be very careful with this idea of blaming people for excess weight. If you feel like you're carrying too much weight, what steps can you take? What do you think you should do about it? Get educated about those things. Oh, you know what? I really do need to work on my sleep. I don't get enough sleep, and that's why I'm overweight, which is, by the way, potentially true. And I need to work on getting whole food, real good nutrition into myself. And that's how you'll get long-term weight loss. And will it come through a drug? That's what the drug companies want, so I have to, am I skeptical that we can poison ourselves for long-term health? Again, that's always my concern with drugs. Short-term use of drugs, great. Long-term use of drugs, maybe a little be cautious about. But again, don't rule out the possibility that it could be a helpful thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just shortcuts, People look for in Hollywood, everybody wants a shortcut. She passed away January 12th. She was only 54 years old, Lisa Marie.
Wow.
And this came out on Thursday. The medical examiner's office ruled she died of natural causes.
Yeah, right.
It was cardiac arrest caused by small bowel obstruction.
Small bowel obstruction shouldn't cause a cardiac arrest. So that's, something's wrong there. But
something's wrong there, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is,
so,
I'm sure more will come out, but
right, especially at that age. You said she was 54.
54 years old. She was young, kid.
Yeah, and like our lady who committed, she has had assisted suicide. She was 41 with a chronic fatigue. the actress we just talked about last week. Sorry, I'm blocking on her name off
Yeah,
the top
yeah,
of my
yeah.
head.
No, yeah.
And
From the Mindy Project.
Mindy Projects
Yeah.
lady, and so you know, you see these, but it does go back to, like, you look at our country and where we're at with overall mortality and infant mortality and pregnancy related mortality, and just there's such a shift needs to occur in our awareness away from drugs, by the way, towards how do we actually heal, and where do we put our money as a society, and how healthy um, socialism actually is in terms of helping people. It has to be balanced, of course, with a free market economy, and there's some balance there by people who know much more than I do, of course. But the idea that they're the selling to people that, you know, really caring for people. If you really were pro-life, you'd be for school lunches, you'd be for, you know, all these things, everything out there. That's what, if you were pro-life, what you'd be for universal health care. And none of the quote unquote pro-life people are for these things. So, and that's what's killing us, you know. And
That's
so
what's yeah.
it's very interesting what forces that she, you know, feel like she needed to do these medicines and things, and that goes into societal influences on women telling them they're not good enough because they're overweight. And so that's just not true. They're just overweight. Just like you're not a bad person if you smoke. It's just not a great health decision.
It's not,
you know.
it's yeah,
And
it's
so we have to be careful that this diseasification of things, which is that, yes, obesity has its complications. That is actually a fact. Okay. Now, however, the number one thing you can do to counteract that is actually get fit. Okay, so exercise is the number way to counteract that in terms of increasing lean body mass and those types of things. So the weight becomes not the primary thing. The number one thing is, how do you feel? How comfortable are you with yourself? This idea of whatever happiness is. And so because you can be happy and overweight. Okay, as a matter of fact, many people are tortured by the idea of getting, like, losing weight to the point of bariatric surgery and a drug apparently and whatever, and dead at 54. Oh, I bet that surgery really prolonged her life. Well, clearly not in her case. Okay, so what was the disease? The disease was thinking that the weight was the disease. That was the disease. And so we have to be careful about where we go with this, because the idea that how much pressure was on the poor lady to look a certain way because she has the Presley last name, you know. And so so in that order, this shift that we all have to make towards, you know, neutrality. Okay, because this idea that if somebody is fat, that they're bad or whatever you think is just not true. And so I deal with this at my clinic. If somebody thinks they, you know, they want to lose a dress size or whatever else, that's a common thing. You know, so many people are not focused on what really needs to be treated. They're so focused on their weight, and that's because our society says how bad it is. And there's a lot of undertones of the patriarchy, racism that is behind that, by the way, because the rates of obesity are highest in Black women, and so talk about having the most issues with that. So long and short of it is, you know, be careful about what medicines you choose to go on to. Be careful with your doctor, because I prescribed that medicine, by the way, the Ozempic. Okay, and so the idea is right now the insurance companies are only covering it for diabetes, by the way, and they're very expensive, and so the stars can afford to pay for them, of course. Okay, because it doesn't matter what the cost is. I just got to lose weight. And they will help you lose weight. What are the long-term effects of that going to be? Don't know.
You don't know. You know, everybody be careful. And also right now, the heat wave, it's dangerous temperatures out there. It could set a new record right now. So if you're out there, be careful. Nearly a third of Americans, about 113 million people, are currently under heat advisories from Florida, California, up to Washington State. So
here in Tennessee, it's that 90-90 thing, 90-degree temperatures with 90% humidity. And I try to go out and do my yard work more than just weeding. You know, and you got to come back in, because man, it just sucks you down. It really does.
118 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona. That's crazy.
Right. And it was that way up and down like in the Bakersfield area and things like that. There was like enormous, like in the 118s areas as well too, the San Joaquin Valley. And so,
and
that's crazy temperatures. And so
stay inside with a Peloton and the air conditioning.
And
something.
Or do some reading, you know. Go back to some of the great books and other things, people, too, because there's so much knowledge that I think is being lost because well, I didn't have this on my Kindle. Well, there's lots of great books that that are out there that you can download, etc. It's and or get copies of.
It's so
Um,
scary the heat because it's in
and
Canada, the
and
heat,
stay inside. Yeah,
the
stay inside.
fires, the wildfires from this, but
Right.
it's what heat waves, what the effects they have on a body.
Right.
It just
Well,
zaps you out.
it really does zap you out as much as you try to pay attention to hydration, which I very much do, especially here. The thing in Phoenix is, it's that proverbial dry heat, and but you have to be careful there because you don't feel your sweat. The sweat goes away instantaneously. Here seriously, if I go out in early morning, I'll have to go through 3 different bandanas that I soak through just a few hours of work outside. Okay. And so because it's so obvious how much water you're losing, you
You
have
don't
to,
even realize, but
yeah,
sometimes you don't even
so
realize.
you have to stay ahead of it, so but yes, everybody take care of that. And those, I read an article from a pediatrician saying that our parents used to just throw us outside in the summertime,
Yeah.
right? To go out and my folks we lived in Maine, they would just ring a bell when on our porch when they wanted us to come back
Oh,
from
my
wherever.
family go play in traffic.
Yeah, it was, it wasn't any traffic actually where we were, but yes, it was sort of like that, but different community. But so that the heat is so intense now that it's not just super athletes that are dying and or getting heat strokes and having things. It's actually our average kid, and it's a different world out there.
It's a different world.
And we have to be careful about that.
It's a different world. It's a different. Yeah, everybody drink a lot of water. Make sure you hydrate yourself. How about my world, huh? Go play. Who says such a thing like that? Go play in traffic. You schmuck. Yeah, that's how I got brought up. That's how I got brought up.
Yeah.
I got yelled at. You're a schmuck.
Yeah,
it's like unbelievable.
Work on your reflexes.
I got abused, but you don't see me. You don't see me just starting with people. I just come on this show to enjoy the mornings with you and the world and Debbie Moeller, and that's all I need. I don't need anything else. I'm had my own anyway. Everybody, be careful. Drink a lot of water. Thanks for joining Sunday with Dr. G and me. And if you need any good supplements, please, really, no joke, go in the links. Use Coffee 20. It'll get you fixed. You'll get a discount. I can't even make a joke. I can make a Jewish joke. I'm Jewish. You know what? It's running till August. Take the Jewish deal from ADIKA. 20% off. Coffee 20. Go on the links down below. And if you want to see more great episodes like this and be a part of the chat, stop at the alligator arm. Just support the channel any way you can.
Support Steph and everybody.
Try. I'm living in a tent. I don't want to be living by Min's grocery store. My wife, this is what you get. This is what you get. But anyway, Powerball's out there. Go get one. And if I get one, I'm sending everybody a shirt. That's it. That I want.
Well, you mentioned her snoring. You might be able to end up by Min's Club quicker than
something.
You think.
She won't watch this. She won't watch this. I went on too long. I hope she doesn't.
Yeah,
I'll be sneaking in the door, in the rooms. But anyway, Dr. G.
All right, guys.
Go get a headband. Wrap it up in water. Don't get too hot out there. Hydrate. But it is no joke. All kidding aside, there's no joke. The heat. The heat is really serious. And picture the people that are older, over 70, 80, that have to live in the heat, that won't put on their air conditioning
because they think they can't afford it again. So yeah, keeps coming back to that same thing.
It's the whole other thing. So everybody, don't be so cheap on yourself. Spend a little extra, because you know what? You got one life and you're here to enjoy it, and we want you here with us. So I am Stefan. This is Dr. G. Until then, everybody, another great episode of Coffee Talk with Dr. G and ADIKA.
Yep.
We'll catch you all later, everybody. Remember, who loves you, baby? We do. Doctor, it is that time.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Mwah.
It's Coffee Talk with ADIKA. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here with Stephen and all his friends.
I must say, Dr. G, we look really handsome together, and
there we go.
We really do. And make sure you guys click on something that's going to pop up right over here, and comment down below. We always love to hear what you have to say. Until then, we'll catch you next Sunday. Bye, everybody.